I am Danielle Yeager, and this is the first video in the comparison series, and this one is jealousy versus comparison. So you need this video if you are feeling like comparison is getting in the way of your life, if you're comparing yourself to other people, and if you feel like, okay, what's the difference between comparison and jealousy? Because that's what we're going to dive into in this video. Okay, so jealousy, we'll start with that. Jealousy is fear of humiliation and abandonment. It's feeling threatened, so it's that fight or flight, feeling threatened, and generally comes up when relationships are threatened by a third party. So what does that mean? So if you are worried about being humiliated, abandoned, and your relationships are being threatened, then that's when jealousy is going to rear its ugly head. So if you feel like in your family that you are known as the person who is smart, okay, and your sibling marries somebody who you feel like is smarter than you, or who may be taking that role, then you're worried about being humiliated by not being as smart. Maybe you feel threatened that you're going to lose your role in the family. So that's that relationship being threatened, that your sibling is no longer going to care for you the same way because you're not filling that role anymore. It can be if you feel like in your relationship, a woman who is more attractive or a man who is more attractive comes in and becomes friends with your significant other, and you feel fearful that you will be abandoned by your significant other, that they'll leave you, that they'll break up with you. And so you're feeling threatened by that relationship, or that relationship is being threatened by this third party. Okay? So jealousy comes from fear of humiliation or abandonment, and it's when you're feeling threatened, usually when you're feeling threatened for your relationship. But that can be any kind of relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family type of relationship, so that part doesn't matter. Okay, so comparison. So comparison, this is more of my definition. So comparison comes up when it's between you and one other person, and it's regarding your self-worth. And it can, but doesn't have to pivot on a third person. And it's actually tied closer to envy than jealousy. So comparison is regarding your self-worth. What does that mean? So your self-worth are the things that you identify as. So you identify as being creative, smart, sexy, youthful, brave, whatever it could be. The positive things that you identify as that create who you are in your own mind. When those things are being threatened, meaning that another person comes in your life that is all of those things, or maybe half of those things, it creates envy. It creates a feeling of your self-worth being threatened. So maybe they're better than you at all of these things. And they have skills that you want. So you're envious of the things that they have. So you start comparing yourself to check out where you are in relation to them. So, oh, check, I am younger than them. Oh, thank God I'm younger than them. I am skinnier than them. Check, oh, thank God I'm skinnier than them. But still, oh, they have more money than me. They have achieved more things than me. I'm envious of those things, right? So you start comparing. You start listing out and comparing yourself on every aspect of them. Okay? So it's threatening who you are as a person. It doesn't have to have anything to do with a third party person, right? So it doesn't have to be threatening a relationship of yours. It's threatening you as a person in your own mind of, this is my self-worth as a person in the world. So you start comparing yourself. Okay? So jealousy has to do with fear of humiliation and abandonment, and usually threatens a relationship. Comparison has to do with challenging your self-worth and feeling envious of the things that you don't have that you want. Okay? So both feelings are normal, completely normal. You're not alone. Everyone experiences these feelings. And they're both harmful because they both damage your well-being and your relationships. Okay? So if you're feeling this way, then you're threatening your relationships, yourself, right? And you're threatening your self-esteem. You're creating doubt in your abilities and your self-worth. But they're totally normal and we can totally work on them. So the very first step is awareness. So the actions to take are to take count of which relationships feel threatened and who are you feeling jealous of. So bring that awareness into your relationships. It might be a romantic relationship, a friendship, and who is that person that's making you feel jealous. So maybe with your best friend, they've become friends with somebody new, and you are feeling jealous of that person because you're fearful of your special connection with your best friend being threatened. So maybe that's one. You write that down. Maybe it has to do with a parent or a sibling or a romantic relationship. Write down any areas where you're feeling jealous of a person and which relationships are feeling threatened. And then take count of who you compare yourself with on a daily basis. Okay, so we have one list, that's the jealousy list, and one list, that's the comparison list. So on the comparison list, you just write the name of a person that you compare yourself with so that you feel like you're constantly trying to see how you measure up. Maybe you're trying to one-up them because you feel like they're challenging your self-worth. And a person might come up on both lists. That's totally possible. But I want you to gain some clarity on who are you feeling jealous of, with which relationships they're threatening, and who you're comparing yourself with on a daily basis. And guess what? Who you're comparing yourself with may not even be someone you know. It could be a celebrity. It could be someone up the ladder on their career that you aspire to be like, but also creates negative feelings for you. Okay, so that awareness is huge. If you don't have a baseline, you can't move forward. So you need to know where you're starting. How many relationships are feeling threatened? Where is your jealousy aimed at? And where are you feeling like comparison is getting in your way? Who are you comparing yourself to? Okay, so I will see you in the next video where we will dive into some strategies to help you with comparison. See you there.